What is going on, guys? Welcome to Greggles TV Daily, your source for daily tech news. Make sure you subscribe so you know what's going on in the world of tech. How is everyone doing? Hope you're having a fantastic day. We've got one story, 3 questions. Let's go. And our story, really slow news day, but I saw this article on Droid Life that said, do you miss the micro SD card? And obviously you can still buy micro SD cards. I don't think they're not meaning like, do you miss micro SD cards? Because you can still buy them. Do you miss micro SD cards inside of phones? Because you can still get them in phones, let's be fair. You can get them in these, the really budget phones still have micro SD card support, but you can't get them in these flagship phones anymore. iPhones never had SD card support at all, ever. Android had them from basically the beginning of time up until about 2020. You could add a micro SD card in there and store your videos, your photos, your music, your games, some apps. You could do stuff like that, and then you could carry that little SD card with you around when you got a new phone, and you'd always have your stuff with you. You really wouldn't have to use cloud storage, because cloud storage really wasn't, they had it, but it wasn't super prevalent. Not everybody used it, 5-6 years ago. And now we're at a point where I can't think of any flagship phone that has micro SD card support in it. I literally can't think of one. And you might think about, well, why did they remove it? And obviously it's a cost-cutting measure. If you have to put one less component into the phone, that's more money in the pockets of the manufacturer that comes out with the phone. Even if the part costs 50 cents or $1 or $5, if you times any of those by 1 million or 10 million or 100 million, however how many phones you're selling that have that, you're saving a lot of money with it. You're saving a ton of money, millions of dollars, tens of millions potentially. And when you get into those kind of factors and numbers, you're like, okay, that saves jobs, that pays their health insurance for a bunch of people, or pays for the lighting bill, whatever it is with it. And then factor in, if you don't have an SD card in there, then you're gonna potentially have to buy the higher storage option, which again puts more money into the manufacturer's product pocket, I should say, for that product. When you factor all that stuff in, you come up with, it's really about the dollar of why they probably removed it. Now, maybe they removed it also because it hurts with water resistance. You can't get as good water resistance or any water resistance if you have a micro SD card built into your phone. Okay, I can understand that. I'd rather have water resistance than micro SD personally. But take that out of the equation then. Maybe that's not the issue, or they can get around that issue and still have water resistance. It is, for me, admittedly, I do not miss the SD card. I don't want the SD card personally back. I would never use it again. But for a lot of people, and because I looked at that article that Droid Life did, and 86% said they want it back in the phones. And I can see why they'd want it back in a way. As much as I'm not a fan about it, people that don't want to pay for cloud storage to easily have their phones, all of their photos and music, or photos and videos on their phone, they can have it right there for free, or that one-time cost of the micro SD card, instead of putting it in the cloud. Now, if you lost your phone or the micro SD card died, then okay, your photos are gone. But maybe they don't care about that, and they trust themselves enough with the phone, and they trust the SD card, and they don't want to pay that yearly, monthly fee, whatever they're incurring with cloud storage. Maybe the people don't want to pay for the extra amount that they have to pay to get the extra storage on a phone. I understand that as well. Makes total sense. At this point in time, I can only imagine that if a flagship phone from Samsung or Google or OnePlus or Oppo or whoever it may be came out with a phone with micro SD card support that was a flagship phone in there, it would be a huge seller for, especially with the nerds and the geeks. That would probably be a phone they would clamor to. If Samsung came back out with it, it would be, I honestly think it would be pretty big. I don't think like everyone's mom and dad would be like, oh, I'm getting that phone now because it has expandable storage. I don't think that would happen, but I think like the nerdy people like myself, people like, I wouldn't personally go for it, but people like me, I guess you could say, would go for that phone because it has expandable micro SD card storage. So I'll throw you guys the question back. Does micro SD card expansion need to come back? Let me know in the comments down below, yes or no, and why. I personally don't think it does. At least I don't need it. I don't want it. I prefer cloud storage more, because if my phone gets lost, stolen, broken, it's still in the cloud, and I can access those photos from any device. Now, I know you can back your photos up to other things such as network attached drives that you have at your house or your computer or whatever, but it's just a thought. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Without further ado, let's jump on our Q&A. First question comes from Ahmed. It's Ahmed. What phone are you going to get, the Fold 5 or Flip 5? I actually think I'm going to get both. I'm going to get both. I will get both. Fold 5 will be potentially my main phone, depends on the Pixel Fold, but that will probably still, that or the Pixel Fold will be my main phone. And then the Flip 5, I'm just intrigued by that bigger outside display, so that's why I plan on getting that and doing a bunch of videos on it. Chris201, Greg, will that outer display for on the Z Fold 5 be 120 or 60 hertz? It should be 120 hertz. And our last question from Reactions 4206, do you think the focus on getting the Fold 5 thinner, lighter, folding flat, and no crease is because of the tri-folding, and that must need these things even more than the Fold does? That's a great, I didn't even think about that. That is a fantastic point that they would potentially, those are reasons why they're really pushing for that. I think that when companies make phones, I think they like to bring a lot of the same technologies that they use on other devices to newer or more advanced devices as well, because of the fact that it reduces their manufacturing costs and thought process when they're designing these products. So yeah, I think you're probably right on that. If you have a question, leave it in the comments down below with the hashtag question. Have a great day, and we'll see you down the road. Peace.